What's up, guys? I'm super excited because we have Karissa McLaughlin here with us today, Indiana basketball legend, family ties. So it's really excited to have her here. And Karissa, thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Super excited. So you're from Fort Wayne, Homestead, one state. Kind of just going to like what that was like. Rod Parker, he's a really awesome guy, awesome coach. Like what that was like playing for him and just your experience.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great 4 years playing under Coach Parker, and we've had incredible teams during the time that I was there. I mean, my freshman year, we lost at regionals, which was upsetting. But then my sophomore year, we went to state and lost, unfortunately. Allie Patberg took over that game. And then junior year, we lost at semi-state to a heartbreaker as well. And then my senior year, we won state, which was like the perfect ending to a high school career. And that senior class was just amazing to play with. And all the younger girls that were underneath us as well. It was just an overall like super exciting year. And so, you know, Madison Parker was on that team, Taryn, and then Jasmine were kind of like the main four. But yeah, I miss that team so much. But it was definitely like the perfect ending going into my college career.
Yeah, it was cool to watch all for this. I got to see all that. I was there for like all that, which was cool.
The whole season. Like I just knew we were gonna win state that year. Like everything was just going, perfectly.
Like based off of the past years.
Yeah. Like and I can't even say we had like any drama that year. Like it was just like literally like a story.
That's nice.
Moment that whole year. Everything. Yeah, the chemistry was on point. Everything. So
wow. I'm trying to think. So that was your senior year. So we would have been freshmen. So who would have been your freshman night? You had like. I don't even know.
Remember.
They were Riley Parker, right? She
Riley,
would have been.
Yep, she was on that team. Sophia Buck. I don't know if she was a freshman at that time.
Yeah, because I think she
was a freshman or sophomore. But yeah,
Taya doesn't know any of these people, but I'm like, I know every single one of these people. That's cool, though. And then you end up ending your high school with Miss Indiana basketball. Like, just what was that like, getting that award?
Yeah.
All your hard work.
It's a very special award to get in Indiana, obviously a basketball state. So I know there was, like, tons of pressure and, like, you know, hoping that I would get it because obviously Madison Wise, her credentials were incredible. Dana Evans, her credentials were incredible. So for us to be the final three, I mean, anyone who would have gotten it would have been like, you deserve it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when my name got called, I was like, oh, that's me. I'm about to go up there.
Oh my gosh.
That's
so
awesome.
that was just like, you know, obviously another check mark off the box for my high school career. But yeah.
So do you like not know until you're like at that award ceremony?
No,
like they don't
wait the entire time until they announce it.
There?
Yeah. And it's the last award that they announce.
Of course.
So like I'm just anxiously sitting there the whole time, like I think it's about to happen. Be ready. Like texting my parents because they're like sitting somewhere in the back.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sitting by myself the entire time.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah,
you're set to freak out.
Yeah.
But you know that you're in the top, like the final three before you go into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, you know you're like the final three, and then, they announce it that night. I don't know if that's how it still goes, which I don't think it is because the most recent announcement was Chloe. I'm blanking on her last name right now. But she won it, and they announced it like at her school. Like they just told her at school. So I don't know if they do the same thing anymore.
I'm not sure.
I have no idea anymore.
That's how my moment was. It was really cool. But
that is really awesome.
It's really awesome. And going off of that and like a high point at the end of your high school career, how did you go about deciding where to go to college?
So that story is kind of crazy. So originally I was committed to Florida. And then, unfortunately, like that head coach, I got let go. And then that was like in March probably. And so I had to like quickly decide where am I going to go next. Purdue was like always in the picture. Like I actually have a scrapbook that says like I'm going to be a Purdue Boilermaker. Like it's just always been something that I wanted to do. Why I didn't originally commit there, I'm not sure. I think I just fell in love with the Florida sunshine.
That's fair.
So then I ended up at Purdue, which I was super excited about. Like my family loves Purdue. So I was looking forward to that. But obviously like it's kind of scary at first. Like you're going into college, you don't know what the expectations are. Like you know you're obviously good because you made it to that level, but now it's like, okay, how's the competition? Like, what's my competition? Can I win a starting spot? Because in college, like, you never know. In the recruiting process, they can tell you a lot, but you don't really know until you get there. But yeah, I was really excited to get on campus as soon as possible. So
I bet your family was excited you're a little closer to home too.
Oh yeah.
for sure.
Not that
It's a
far.
big difference. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they definitely were.
Besides loving Purdue when you were little, like what else did you like about it? Well, like the campus, the program. So.
Yeah, I mean, it had been a winning program, a tradition of winning Big Ten championships, you name it. And so, you know, that was something that I wanted, staying in Indiana. You know, I'd watched it growing up all the time, so I was familiar with it. I knew a lot of players that played there. And then I was just excited for the opportunity that I had for like myself, and the opportunity that I could play right away. But really, yeah, like, and then family oriented, that was a big thing that they had talked about, was like Purdue is a family. And you quickly find out once you step foot on campus that it is a family. And that's just beyond like Purdue women's basketball. That's the men's basketball team, the campus, everyone involved. Like,
Yeah.
it's all a family. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
What was it like to play like under Sharon's like coaching?
She's a tough-nosed coach. Like, she's going to get after you. She'll hold you accountable. And then, I mean, she just, like, super, like, passionate about what she does, you know? And so makes you, like, go out there and, you know, be passionate as well. So I'm thankful that she gave me the opportunity to play at Purdue, you know? And because not everyone gets that chance to play at a school that they've always wanted to play at. So, yeah, and then being a point guard, I had a lot of one-on-one time with her and my other coaches as well. So I was always having tough conversations about, you know, things I'm not seeing, things they're not seeing, and getting comfortable having those conversations. And, like, that's hard at 18, 19 years old to have tough conversations and to figure that out on, you know, how can I lead my team to victory when things get tough? Like, how do you overcome that? But, yeah.
That's a lot of, like, that people don't think about is college sports. They're young athletes and just young in general. Like, you're 18, 19 going into school, and they expect such high, like, they have high expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people quickly forget, like, these are kids, and like how long it takes to get adjusted, and like people adjust at different rates too. So, and people understand the game at different rates, so they're able to play quicker because of that, like different aspects. But yeah, I mean, they're 18, 19-year-olds like trying to figure out something that's extremely tough at a young age. And then just like the mental capacity, the mental part of the game, like people don't understand like the grind that it takes mentally, not just physically, but like, you know, overcoming those challenges as well.
What was it like for your transition coming in, like with your teammates and like meeting all these new people, and then you probably are living with them right away? Like, what was that kind of transition like with them?
Yeah, I mean, it took some getting used to like having a roommate and getting used to all of that. But yeah, thankfully, like the class that I came in, we only had one senior my freshman year.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of different, only having one senior. And then like our other starters were sophomores, so like we were pretty young.
Oh wow, yeah, you were.
Yeah,
Dang.
pretty young. So I mean, yeah, honestly, like it was tough, but it wasn't, because everyone I felt like was very helpful. I was the incoming point guard that needed to play right away, so I think everyone understood that and was like, all right, we have to embrace this kid right away because she's gonna be our point guard. And so thankfully, like, that was a pretty smooth transition. I will say I don't think I was playing, like, at my best until we played Penn State. So it was probably, like, in January, around that time, when I finally was like, okay, I can really do this. So, like, my first game as a freshman was at Central Michigan. My first half was absolutely terrible, and I'm like, whoa, this is like the real deal, you know?
Yeah.
And then I ended up finishing with like 20-something points by the end of it. But like, it takes a minute to be like, all right, take a deep breath, slow the game down.
Yeah.
You belong here.
Right.
Yeah.
Now
Like
go
you
do
were-
what you're supposed to do, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come right away. Usually it takes like I'm here. Now I have to figure this out.
I'm like, I'm actually here at this level.
Yeah. And then Penn State, when I finally kind of got familiar with the Big Ten, that was like my first double-double. And I'm like, okay, so I can really pass the ball and I can shoot it. Like, I can really do this, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes it just takes moments like that to really, like, build your confidence again. Because, like I said, your college career goes, like, up and down, up and down. Like, of confidence levels, of just kind of figuring out where you're needed, where other people need you to be. So, but yeah.
Were there any big, like, turning points you had to refocus yourself throughout your time at Purdue?
Yeah, definitely many times during my freshman year. Obviously, I think anyone's freshman year is
gonna
have highs and lows. My sophomore year, I think, was probably my best year that I had. Junior year, I think, was kind of up and down again. But I will say, like, once my foot injury, like, I had a lingering foot injury for, like, a really long time. I think my whole career I was in a walking boot. People just didn't know that. But then it just got so bad to where after the Big Ten tournament, COVID happened, and then I had to wait until July to get surgery. And then I didn't play all the way till January. This was my senior year. So I didn't play all the way till January. I was, like, super ahead on my rehab, of course. Like, you want to get back as soon as possible. It's my senior year. I know I'll have an extra year, so I was like, why not try to play? At least get some games under my belt. January, come back. I only played 7 games, and I was like, my foot is not ready for this amount of, like, activity. So then I stopped and then just cheered my teammates on the rest of the season. So that was my senior year, and then I had a 5th year of eligibility. And I'm like, well, I already have my Purdue degree. Like, I want something different. So then I went to Marquette for my 5th year.
What made you, like, choose Marquette then?
I actually had a prior relationship with Coach Duffy. She recruited me at Michigan. She was an assistant at Michigan. And I was super close with her, like, got along with her really well during that recruiting process. And so she was, like, one of the first coaches to reach out to me. And, like, her energy and just, like, is super contagious. She's a point guard herself, so she gets it. And I knew she believed in me. Like, I only took one or two phone calls, and I'm like, I know she believes in me, and I know that I can be utilized actually in just 1 year. Because it's tough, like, going somewhere for just 1 year. And having to learn their system in 2 to 3 months, basically, to win your spot. And then, that's it. You have 2 months to figure it out, and then, like, you have to go do it.
That's wild, because you also have to connect with other girls there.
Yeah, which that actually is what sold me, too. I had, like, a Zoom with 3 of the girls, which are now 3 of my best friends. I was going to say,
you had some great girls at Marquette with you.
Yeah, so they're now 3 of my best friends. And, we were just hooping. It was a lot of fun. It was a different kind of play. We ran a ton of sets. We had a lot of different actions. But, it was a lot of fun, I will say.
You guys had a good squad that year. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, we did.
Because you had Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren. Lauren is overseas now, and then Jordan King was there. She was a baller. She just finished her last year. She just finished her last year, and then Chloe Murata. She was just in Hungary for partial of the year, and then now she's back. She's doing, like, some commentating and stuff now.
That's cool.
That's super
she's
cool.
a boss lady. She's, like, killing it.
Get it.
I love that for her.
Also, senior year was COVID for you, right? How was that with your injury and dealing with that?
I think, that year for everybody was a lot. But especially just, like, so we had the Big Ten tournament. We lost to Maryland, I believe. And then there was a high chance we were going to make the tournament that year, which, like, is so heartbreaking that we didn't have the tournament. Like, we got called on a Monday. I was like, it's canceled. Or maybe it was a Sunday, because Monday would have been, like, the show. It was like, it's canceled. We were like,
cool.
Nice.
What do we do now?
Okay, well, all that work was for nothing.
Dang.
But, so I just rested until, like, you could have surgeries and stuff again. So then July came, had my surgery, and then it was just, like, a bunch of rehab until January. But it was just so, like, obviously no one's in the stands, which is, like,
It was
it's
weird
just so,
to
like,
watch.
it's hard to get, like, amped up and motivated. Like, you know, running out of the Mackey Tunnel, like,
I was gonna say
to all those fans and stuff is like some of the most exciting things at Mackey Arena. And so then like running out to like crickets, like it's
Nothing.
like, all right, cool, like literally poster signs in the stands,
Dang.
with fake faces on it.
Yeah,
Especially
watching
at
any of
Mackey.
the tournament, it was just weird with nobody there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like Mackey Arena like silent.
Yeah, when is it ever silent?
Yeah, never.
Never.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, that was tough for everyone to have to go through that. But now to go from that to what it is now, like,
Yeah.
is
know.
insane. And obviously huge for the women's game.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark obviously has a lot to do with that. But, I mean, there's so many powerful names out there now that are just making a difference for the women's game in general. And I'm excited to see it start growing even more. Like, obviously, the Fever games are like,
Ooh,
Oh my gosh, they're already.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
crazy.
like-
It's gonna be crazy.
yeah,
She just got to Indy today, actually. Caitlin did.
Oh, did she?
like officially.
Or like yesterday, she started her workouts or
Okay.
something.
Started.
Nice.
So, woo!
Yeah.
Starting. That's actually what I wanted to get into. Just like from you playing to now, like how like has it been for you to see like how women's sports has grown? Not even just basketball, but any
Yeah.
sport in general. But like especially teams that you've played against or the players you've played against, and now seeing them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, all of our work and time is finally like getting paid off now because, you know, people are paying attention and giving the respect to these women who are incredible. Like,
Yeah.
we're super talented, super skilled. Like, we may not be doing flashy dunks, but like we do some really cool stuff, you know, and knock
Yeah.
down threes and great shooters. You know, so it's just getting super competitive and such good for not just the women's game, but like women in general in the
Yeah.
business world, and you know, just giving ourselves a platform to share everyone's stories and just bring more attention to see how freaking cool we really are. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always say, I was like, the women's game is so much more enjoyable to watch than the men's, and I will stick to that.
Yeah.
I will stick to that.
Yeah, I just grew up watching like men's sports and baseball, so like I didn't really start watching until I moved in.
I forced you. I
And
did.
no.
That's okay. You
Yes
have to
and
start
no.
sometimes.
Oh yeah,
As
I
long as you
enjoyed
started.
watching the tournament this year.
Yeah.
It was actually way better than the men's, in my opinion, this year. There's also more viewers, and people were just more into it because the players had their social media platforms,
Yeah.
and the spotlight
Yeah.
was all on them,
Yeah.
which was cool.
That was cool.
Social media is a whole nother
I was gonna say
thing.
with that,
Yeah,
like
that
with your
too.
platform, like, did you have to like watch what you're posting, or like, did you try to use your platform in a certain way, like when you were playing at Purdue and Marquette?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always just like, it's so different. And now they're posting deals and
Oh, yeah.
NIL ads and stuff. But at the moment, like, that is kind of your platform to show people who you are, because obviously they only see you on the court. They don't know like who you are as a person. So
Right.
kind of a way to, show off your, you know, basketball skills, but also kind of show like, who is this girl off the court? And obviously faith is something that's super important to me, has been my whole life.
Yeah.
In the household I grew up in, and, you know, once I had my personal journey of, you know, coming to Christ, and I always try to use that as a platform. I still am, even in like my working world. You know, I'm always preaching. So,
There you go.
but yeah, so I think it's just kind of another way to show like what you're about and what you care about.
Yes,
awesome.
and how do you feel about the NIL deals, and do you wish you had that when you were in
I'm
college?
a bit jealous, actually. I wish I had a few more years of eligibility, but we won't talk about that.
We could have got cool shirts like this, guys.
Yeah,
More
look
merch.
at that.
More
Yeah.
merch.
But no, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, people are making money. I hope they're saving it, because
Hopefully.
they're
Yeah.
gonna need it when they're done, when the ball's done bouncing. So, but yeah, it's cool, you know, for these kids to get opportunities and to get the attention they deserve. So
Yeah. Dang. So did NIL kind of start like right after you graduated?
that my 1 year at Marquette. So that's how I had those shirts.
Okay.
No
yeah.
way.
See, supported.
Yeah. It wasn't like where, you know, you're getting like money or anything like that. They were still trying to figure out all the rules. So you could do like your own personal like basketball camp. So I went home and did one in Fort Wayne with
Oh,
Madison
okay.
Parker.
I do
We
remember
did
that.
like a a day shooting camp or something, like a few hour shooting camp, which is pretty cool. So we were able to start doing that kind of stuff. You have your own merch.
So
and
cool.
yeah. But now, we didn't really know that we could get like endorsements or anything like that.
She's like, money?
Yeah,
Wow.
we could have been making money this whole time.
Yeah, I'm so jealous.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so that was kind of the first year. So we did a little bit of that, little things like that. But it's definitely blown up since then.
Oh yeah, players are making money. Like
Kate was
Caitlin
about to
Clark
sign
with
that.
State Farm, and
You should just sign that $28 million
with who?
Nike today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
For
you
8
kidding?
years. Like,
Yep.
Chris is like, yeah, I was at that $28 million.
Oh, that would
yeah.
be nice.
That's crazy.
Wouldn't really have to be, out in the work field
For
technically.
real. But with, like, you guys running the camps, and, like, for me, like, obviously, I grew up watching you. Like, I was like, I want to be Karissa McLaughlin.
Aw.
Obviously, I didn't play basketball after that. But, like, you have all these kids, like, coming to watch your guys' games and showing up. Like, what was that like to have, like, those kids that, like, wanted to be you, like,
Yeah.
as you're playing?
I think it's like humbling and like exciting to see like someone wants to be in your shoes. So like, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to, pour into them and like give them advice and like utilize, that platform that you had, like I said. And so I always loved like seeing little kids and talking to them, taking pictures with them, autographs, whatever they wanted. I always loved to do, which your picture was so funny.
Oh my gosh, we have so many.
We had so many.
We brought the whole, like, Busco basketball team came to one of their games.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
We were showing up.
I'm sure you were.
Well, and I was like, you guys were good, so it was
Yeah.
like cool to see a program that was like obviously thriving. And Rod Parker's close to my family, and it's just like,
Yeah.
it's just cool. Like, now I see all these little kids, and I'm like, that was me, like with Karissa. Like, it's just really cool to see all that. But
Yeah. No, I think it's
Yeah.
it's awesome, like, to help them get to where you are and show them that it is possible. Like, I wasn't the tallest person, and some people doubted that I could play at the Big Ten level. But, like, you just go do it because you know what you're capable of. You know, like, your parents believe in you. You have a support system that believes in you. And, but most importantly, like, you believe that you can do it and you just go after it. And thankfully, like, I'm so thankful for my family and all the, like, tools that they instilled in me and, like, spending so much money during, like, my years growing up of, like, AAU costs, like, workouts,
my
all
God.
that stuff. Like, it adds up quick, and it's only more expensive now than it used to be.
Absolutely.
But, like, I'm so thankful that they made those sacrifices of even, like, time. Like, we would be gone for a week at a basketball tournament. Like, they could have been doing anything else besides that. So, like, my grandma helped out a ton, too.
Yeah.
Her work is pretty flexible, so, like, she would take time off to, like, take me to my tournaments and stuff. So, if it weren't for, like, the sacrifices they made for me, like, I would not have done what I did without them. So I'd always give them credit for that. Like,
Yeah.
they deserve that.
That's really
Absolutely.
cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What's it like? Your sister's like, what? She's got to be like high school now,
Yeah,
right?
she's finishing her sophomore year.
Oh my goodness. Like, what's
Yeah.
that like watching her now? Like, I'm sure she plays basketball, like growing up in the game, and like you get to watch her from the stands now. Like, what's that like?
Yeah, it's definitely different being in the stands now.
Yeah.
But it's cool, like, kind of meeting her where she's at, like, what she wants out of the game, what she wants for her future, and, like, meeting her there and helping her, like, reach those goals. And, I think she does want to play at the next level. Now, what level that is, I'm not sure, but I think she has the desire to do that. And so kind of, like, understanding what she wants and telling her what it's going to take to get there and making sure she does that. So we've had plenty of conversations. It's like, all right, you want this, but you're not doing this and this and this. So, and she's always like, okay, yeah, you're right. I probably should start doing those things. So, like, being the big sister, I like that I can be there for her in that way. But it's funny. So, like, now that I'm done playing, I'm able to be there for her and my brother a lot more than what I used to be. And like, I felt so bad. I didn't realize, like, how much I wasn't, like, involved in everything that they were doing while I was in college because we just had, like,
You're busy.
zero time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So now, like, I'm making that a priority to be present for my family a lot more, and because obviously that's always been something that's important to me. But
Do you with being that mentor to your sister? Like, did you have that person like as you were playing and like who would like have those conversations with you that like
Oh,
weren't
yeah,
always
that was my
easy.
dad. Yeah, that was my dad.
Shout out Bert. Shout out Bert.
Yeah, he was the best. I mean, he's the one that taught me the game since I was a real little girl. Like, he was a high school coach, so I was always in the gym, and I would shoot on a little hoop until I was strong enough to shoot on a big hoop. But, like, yeah, he instilled, like, all the main skills that I needed, what it was going to take to get to the next level, what my goals were. He was always holding me accountable, like, hey, that was good, but that was, like, not great. So, like, we got to really amp this up here. And so having those, like, honest conversations with me, like, pushed me to get to where I was. Like, if I didn't have someone in my ear, someone, like, holding me accountable, like, it would have been hard to, like, and the attention that you're getting, you're like, oh, I'm doing good. But it's like, no, you have to, like, take it to another level.
Right,
like,
there's still room to
you're doing
better.
good, but, like, you can be better. It's time to, like, do 5 a.m. workouts and, do
all the hard things you
all the
don't
hard
want to
things.
do.
Yeah. Like, there was one day, like, it was 5:30 and I did not want to wake up, and I just wanted, like, 30 minutes of extra rest. But then, like, my mom came and she's like, yeah, we got to go work out. Like, what are we doing? Like, we can't get complacent.
I just want to sleep.
Get up.
But it's, like, moments like that matter. Like, the times that you don't want to get up and go do something, it's, like, those are probably the days that you probably should get up and go do that thing that you don't do. Because that's when you're going to get better. So,
Yeah. Were they like that all throughout while you're in college still, too?
Oh, yeah. Like, my parents would get a little nervous because it would be, like, 1 a.m. And, like, most college kids would be, like, at that time, like, doing something they probably shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Well, like, I'm texting them, I'm on my way to the gym right now to get some shots up. And they're like, first of all, why are you walking at night at 12 and 1 a.m. to the gym? And I'm like, because I'm bored and I want to get some shots up.
Right.
But, like, it's little things like that. So, like,
Yeah.
getting shots up whenever you can matters for consistency in a game. Like, all the reps matter. But, yeah, I was just, like, a little gym rat my whole life. I didn't know any better.
But it
So,
shows.
Like,
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
it does.
shows
Absolutely.
I guess we didn't really talk about this, but, like, you being the 3-point record holder at Purdue. Like, I mean, now you're talking about, like, all this work in the gym that nobody sees is, like, paying off when you get this award.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
I know people don't realize how much work it really takes. Like, it's not like you have your God-given ability, but then it's like now you have to, like, work at it to make it even better, to perfect it. And that's what I was always doing.
She was putting in the work.
She was.
And it showed.
Okay, this is a random question, but, like, who is, like, people you played in college that, like, you'll always be like, oh my gosh, I guarded her, or I played against her. Like, who are those, like, names for you that you're like, oh my gosh?
Kelsey Mitchell was one of them.
Oh,
I think I was a freshman. She was a senior.
Oh, wow.
I believe. And the scouting report was like, you got to be on her at half court. And, like, we're like, okay. Well, like, you really had to be on her at half court because she was shooting, like, literally all the way out there. And, but yeah, she was a dog. She could get a bucket anytime.
She still is.
Still is,
Go
for
Kelsey.
sure. Yeah. Who else? Man, you put me on the spot.
Yeah, sorry. I just saw this. I was like, I wonder who she's faced. That's like,
I will say I did play Caitlin Clark when she was a freshman.
oh
Really?
my gosh.
Yeah, I was a senior. Yeah. She was good then too.
Was she shooting from half court then,
She
too?
was. Yep.
Damn.
And chirping
Word.
at the refs too.
Some things never change.
Yeah. No, yeah, she's really good.
Yeah.
Who else? Yeah, that's the only one I can think of. So she must be tough.
She's always been tough, I guess. Big Ten.
Yep.
Yeah, because Kelsey went to Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Dang.
Why not IU? As an IU fan.
Nah, take it out. No.
They were in the mix, but I had to go
you've
with
always
Purdue.
liked Purdue.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Was Terry
Yes.
Morin still the coach? then? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Purdue-
They were in the
Purdue-
top 5. They were in the top 5.
Purdue wins all the time, Tay. Speaking of that, you went to the Final Four for men's,
Yes,
right?
I did,
What
yep.
was that like? I mean,
Yeah.
It was incredible experience. I mean,
so
I
cool.
think like the whole city of Lafayette was there.
that's awesome.
Like it was just Purdue on every single corner, and like even in the arena
Right.
for like the national championship,
Yeah.
UConn only had like one section, and everywhere else was Purdue fans. Like,
Dang.
it was crazy. They had to give, like, Arizona State students UConn gear to, like, go to the game.
That's
and,
where
like,
it was
cheer for
played
them.
in Arizona. I
was
just
in
forgot.
Phoenix.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
But, yeah, I mean, the environment and just, like, being a part of that and seeing everything that happened, like, it was really cool.
Had you been to a Final Four game before? Was that your first
That was
time?
my first time. Yeah.
Dang.
Oh, I bet it was so cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I date PJ Thompson. He's a coach for the Purdue men's basketball team.
Love it.
And so, like, I've basically traveled with them the whole tournament, the whole way. And so, like, seeing each moment and, like, them achieving, finally going to the Final Four, like, that was a really special moment.
Yeah.
A lot of tears were shed in the stands.
Oh,
That's for sure. But, yeah, supporting him and, like, seeing his coaching journey. Like, I saw him as a player, saw when he went overseas. And then now as a coach, like, it's been super special to, like, see him reach his milestones as a coach. And just support him, you know, along the way. And, like, it's my way of staying involved around basketball.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, hey,
Anything I can do to stay around.
Yeah.
Thanks.
like, I'm gonna come to this. That's so cool. I mean, Purdue fans, like, they're loyal, man.
Yeah.
They're loyal.
Loyal.
They're loyal. We don't get the wins a lot, but when we do, we're
Hey,
gonna.
you did this year.
Yes.
You
We
did.
did. We did finally.
You.
That's the
No.
thing is, like, I think so many Purdue fans take for granted how many times we do win. Like, the past few years, like, we were 2 years ago, let's say we were the rebuilding team, and we won the Big Ten by 3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were
And then,
good.
like,
that
yeah,
year.
we didn't do one in the state tournament. People always talk about that. But, like, we still had a
Look
good
at the
year,
record.
you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's like that stuff matters too. But, yeah.
That's so true.
We win a ton. Like,
That is
there's
so
a
true.
chance, like, every time you go to a game, it's like, yeah, we have, like, a 95% chance that we're winning this game tonight. Like,
Yeah, I don't remember really when they weren't that good in the past
been a while.
5 years. They've been, or it's been probably been longer, but
Yeah.
they've still been solid.
they've always been in the mix.
I don't remember what player said it, but or maybe it was Matt Painter, but he was like, the fact that every time we lose, it's a court storm, like, should say something.
Yeah.
Like,
Says a lot.
Why are you looking at me, huh?
Because you're IU fan.
I didn't storm the court.
None of that.
Wasn't
This,
there.
not this year, you didn't.
Hey, your women's team was good, though.
True.
Your women's
Yeah,
team.
Shout out.
They
yeah.
did good.
They were good.
Yeah.
I was really rooting for them in there. That was a close game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that final game.
So was it? This is going way back, and I just remember this. But like, was it just by chance that you were gonna leave Purdue as Sharon was like done coaching? Like it just kind of worked out together.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like all
she
one
was
thing
done,
after
you're
another.
done.
Yeah, and people had said like, you know, it's good to get like your master's degree from somewhere else, like not
Yeah.
always from the same school. And so if you can kind of like expand your horizon that way and go learn something different, why not take the opportunity? So that's what I
Yeah.
did. Got my master's from Marquette, which is a phenomenal school. And yeah, completed it. Yeah,
So I have to throw this out there. So you played UConn. Yeah.
yeah.
You
I
played
think
Paige Beckers.
2 or 3 times that year, actually.
Would have been
yeah,
Paige
played
Beckers.
Paige Beckers.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
That's our favorite.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I love UConn. But yeah, you went from Big Ten to Big East. So it was,
Yeah, that was the other thing. Playing in a different conference, like,
yeah.
I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
was fun. Like, seeing different people that you may not have heard of before, and you're like, who the heck is that? She's good.
This comes out. And
Which, yeah, Lucy Olson, who
Yeah.
just transferred to Iowa. I played against her. She was a freshman, and she was super good then.
she was like,
She's blonde, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
she
just transferred
just
there?
transferred.
it was
Okay.
like Caitlin Clark, Dia Shaffer, and then her like in school.
was number
She's very
3.
underrated. No one talks
Yeah.
about her.
well, they will now.
I would just pick her
Yeah.
up and I'm like, uh-oh.
They're already
Yeah.
talking about her.
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah,
Man.
so, yeah.
Yeah, it'd been
What-
a Paige Becker's year.
Yeah.
Freshman year.
I
Yeah,
know.
her.
I'm she had a great year, and I'm excited to, like, see what she does
Oh,
next
yeah,
year.
I'm so
you
glad
know,
she's
like,
staying.
I think she'll get even more attention next year.
Yeah,
Be
no, like Caitlin's.
Yeah.
She's become one of my favorite
I've
players
got you
to
hooked.
watch.
I've got you
I
hooked.
really started to like once I paid attention, Nika Mule. I just really liked her because she played defense so well, and I was
Yeah.
like, that was one of the things
Shout out
I
Nika.
did
Yeah.
when I was younger, and I was like, that's super cool to see that. That's her specialty, and people are paying attention to that.
And
She-
that's so underrated.
Yeah.
Like,
It is.
people don't get attention for being a defender. So it's, like,
Yeah.
cool to see that people are starting to.
Yeah,
It
because
took
usually
her-
people pay attention to just how many points you score.
Yeah. It
Yep.
took her locking down Caitlin Clark for people to talk about her.
She does still make jokes about that too.
Oh, it is funny.
Yeah.
But it's just like talking about like her with like, she beat Super assist record and nobody really talks
No, it
about
wasn't
it. We didn't move enough.
Technical difficulties.
Just back up. There we go. But like, nobody talks about that, and I'm like,
no, I didn't hear really anything about that. They mentioned it
Until the
a
draft.
couple times.
Yeah.
They made it. They talked
oh,
about
she
it,
does
yeah.
all the things. So shout
She
out
does.
Nika Mule.
All the things.
She's one of my favorites. But yeah, okay. So we're gonna end with this question, or do you have another question before?
I actually, I have
Okay,
another
good.
question. Since you traveled a lot, what was your favorite place to go to?
Like as far as like
Like
in the States or like
basketball or, like,
arenas?
Arenas, like just like anywhere, like the state.
That's a hard one.
She said Mackey Arena in Lafayette, Indiana.
No.
Yeah, Mackey Arena, obviously, is
I mean,
one of them.
yeah,
But no, I can't say that. Let's see. I went to Australia, which is pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was where our foreign trip was. That was a pretty cool experience.
See any of the big scary bugs there?
I didn't, no. Did not see.
That's what she's worried about.
That's why I used to always want to go to Australia, and now I don't want to go because it was terrifying.
Yeah.
There's like giant spiders like this big and like bats. There was like
Yeah, I can't say I saw any of those.
That's good.
But I will, like, it was really cool, and obviously, like, whoever gets a chance to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Right.
I do wish we could have went to, like, Spain or something, because I do feel like Australia was kind of Americanized. It was, like, very similar to the United States. So, like, seeing something like Spain or something like that would have been really cool, but it was still a good experience.
Was the foreign tour with Purdue or Marquette? Purdue.
With Purdue, yeah.
Ooh.
That's so cool. I
Yeah,
love
we
when
went
schools do
to
that.
Cool.
Hawaii for a Thanksgiving tournament. We went to the Virgin Islands. Where else did we go? I think Florida a couple times. But
That's so cool.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
That is fun. Okay, so I also didn't ask this question, but I'm just thinking of it. Like, why did you decide to just like kind of go through your degree and like not play pro or overseas or?
yeah.
Because you could.
No,
you
that's a good
definitely
question.
could have.
That's a good question. Because I mean, agents obviously did reach out once I was done. It was like, okay, now what's next? Like, where overseas would you want to go? All of those conversations, and I had said if my heart is like not fully set on like going overseas and taking that chance, that I wasn't even gonna like entertain the idea. And like after my season, I just felt like, you know, I think I've fulfilled this part of my life, and I'm ready to take on a different chapter. And I like felt like I really needed a break away from the sport, because it had been my whole life since I was 5 years old. Like, I was always in a gym, always figuring out when my next workout was. Like, everything was surrounded around basketball. And so I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to like take on this next journey. I don't know what that's going to look like, and I don't know how I'm going to use my degree, but I'm going to use it and figure it out along the way. So I graduate in May, and then shout out to everyone needs to listen to this. Use your network, because it's so important how like you build your network while you're growing up, even as an adult, like, because those connections come into play. I got my first job, which is the job I'm at, through one of my assistant coaches in high school. She works there as a sales assistant at the company, and she's like, hey, like, don't worry about the job titles or anything like that. Like, you're going to be able to do this job. And I was like, okay. And so, like, at first I'm, like, kind of intimidated. So, like, I interview for, like, the entry-level job. Like, I don't even know what the title was, but being someone's assistant, basically. And so I go into my interview, and I'm like, this is my first interview I've ever had in my entire life, besides, like, media interviews. Like, no job interviews whatsoever.
Just playing ball.
Yeah. And so I go into it and meet with like a few of the people in the company. The shareholder comes in, and I speak with him, and he's like, yeah, we're not hiring you for this job. Like, you need to be at this level in the corporation.
Wow.
And I was like, but like, we're just talking. Like, how did you know like that I should be, you know, at a different position? And he's like, I mean, the fact you can carry a conversation with a shareholder so easily, and like your personality, just so many different factors. He's like, no, like you have to do this and just trust me. And I was like, okay. So I accepted the position, and I had no idea what the heck I accepted. I'm an R&D tax credit consultant. And essentially what I do is I travel across the country to different companies who are developing like new products, innovative widgets and things like that. and I'll meet with their presidents and their CEOs and their engineers and pick their minds about like what they're working on. Just getting to know people, getting them comfortable with you, and then I do like all the number crunching, which that just comes with the job.
She's like,
Yeah. So like it's really a people job. So I think that's like why he's like, yeah, I'm gonna give this girl an opportunity. And I will say this is another thing people need to listen to. Everything that like as an athlete that you're learning, like time management, just how many hours you put in, like in people management skills, like that stuff has come into play big time. Being in the working force now, like I feel like I'm able to always take on more, and like because you just know how to manage your time, you know how to manage projects, you know how to manage everything. So like I'm like, all right, give me more. Like what more do you have for me?
Right.
All the time.
I was gonna ask and say, how did you use your athletics and like you're doing that your whole life? How does that play into the job you're in now? Like,
Yeah,
definitely, people.
There's so many lessons that you learn that you don't even realize at first. You're like, how's this even going to translate to, like, when I'm an adult?
Yeah.
And, like, so many aspects, too. Like, being a part of a team and having people who are many different personalities, who work differently, but having to get along and, at the end of the day, get the job done. That translates to the working force. Like, yeah, you may not get along with everyone. You may not agree with how they get things done. But at the end of the day, you have to work together and figure it out and come up with the final product. So that all translates. So
That's cool. Networking, see?
Networking. Yeah, let me know.
From
Get
like
you guys a job.
2014, networking.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Keep networking. Like, you never know, like, who you could cross paths with that may help you get a job or just may help you in a different aspect of your life. Like, everyone has connections, so don't be afraid to use them. So
Yeah. Okay, now ready for this question?
You can do it now, yeah.
Okay, who is your favorite athlete and why?
does it have to be a woman?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was going to say Steph Curry.
That's fair.
My favorite athlete, I really like Kelsey Plum. I just love her game. She can score at all three levels. Like, she's a great leader. And she's been part of like changing the women's game too.
Yeah.
And the platform that she has, I always enjoy watching her play. Like, she has a kind of swagger to her that I think is different, makes her stand out. So yeah, I would say Kelsey Plum.
She just did the dog
She did that dog class.
Yeah, that was sick. I was following that on Twitter.
That's the first time they've done that?
I want to say
that
I've
she's
never
done
seen
it.
it.
Yeah.
She's done it? Oh.
Yeah, I think
That was cool.
it was
It
cool.
was.
She got some high up names in there too.
Yeah,
I was
she
like,
did.
"Ooh." That'd be cool. It was cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really fun and exciting, and got to learn a lot from you, which has been really cool. And pick your
You
brain.
guys got to reconnect.
We did reconnect
outside of
That's
the basketball.
awesome.
Of course.
Yeah, but thank you so much for coming. Next podcast, Shelby Gilmore. Super excited about her.
Can't wait to see.
Stay tuned.
Bye.